Hello and welcome to this episode of Talking Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at a carpet flooring kit for the MGAs. So it's applicable to the MGA Coupes and the MGA Roadsters. Now it's worth noting that some of the cars had what they refer to as the front carpet set only. The front carpet set would be effectively the pieces that are currently on your screen, ending at the lower bulkhead sort of kick area there, this part I'm pointing at now. Whereas other cars had the full carpet set, which included these pieces as well, which sort of constituted the sort of rear shelf area, the rear bulkhead, and the kind of wheel arch areas as well. So we can supply either kit. Commonly we supply just this full carpet set here, as you see there, but some of the cars left with almost a plain bodywork exposed area at the back here. This kit's been made in Carvel. We can offer in nylon, Carvel or wool. Carvel, depending on who you ask, was used as original from the factory for MG. However, we certainly have records that suggest that some of the cars left in wool as well. So always take originality with a pinch of salt, but we can certainly offer you the different options. Carvel's very distinctive as it has a kind of rib section to it going through the pile. It's also a very short pile material and it has a Hessian backing on it there. This specific kit, obviously black, has been done to OEM spec in terms of the binding element of it. Now binding of carpets, i.e. the edging on the carpets, always a bit of a subject of debate amongst restorers. Basically a lot of cars of this era, MG included, didn't bind many of the edges of their carpets, and there's always arguments as to why that was the case. Almost certainly a cost-saving exercise, but we see it's counterintuitive. So the majority of the kits that we supply as standard, we edge the carpets. We don't edge all the carpets. We're very specific about the edges that we bind. See our blog post on that subject matter. The general rule of thumb being that no unedged carpet is on show when everything is fitted. It's either tucked underneath an adjacent edged piece or tucked underneath a panel. However, originally, certainly for MG, they did not edge many of the carpets at all, which I'll go over shortly. So let's start at the front of the car. You've effectively got these areas here. Now these are kind of covering the footwell sidewall area in the car, apart from this square piece here, which effectively covers this area here. That sometimes had a chrome finisher on it and didn't have carpet on it, but we do supply carpet to cover that piece there. But all of these pieces cover the sort of A-post footwell area on the side there. You then had the front floors, which obviously kind of looped up into the toe board area. And the front floors, obviously you'll end up doing little cutouts for the steering wheel column, etc. The front floors originally only had a heel pad on the driver's side. So this is a left-hand drive car. I'll show you that front floor in a second. So the right-hand front floor would have been plain, and it had edging around this section here originally. Going over to the left-hand front floor, same again, edging there. And then you've got the original MG rubber heel pad on the driver's side. So say again, this is a left-hand drive car. We can also offer just a plain ribbed rubber heel pad if you prefer, but the MG ones are the original ones. In the middle gearbox tunnel, you had this main piece here with the flap here going down to the gearbox. We don't bother cutting the hole underneath there. It's always best to do that in situ in the car to make sure it lines up correctly. Luckily the carpets that we use, the backings on them are such good high quality that if you cut them correctly in situ in the car, you're not going to have any issues of fraying. And then originally this piece here was always edged as well, so we've edged that and it's got the little popper inserted into it there. Moving further back, this is where the gear stick comes out of, the sewn bits at the front here, so it kind of sits up like that and the gear stick comes out of the back there. Again, we don't cut the hole in it. It's counterintuitive to cut holes in these carpet sets until everything is set in the car. It's a lot easier to make sure that everything fits. Gives you the ability to wiggle it and move it slightly in the car to suit the fitment in your car. And as original spec, this edge is also edged originally from the factory. Slightly further back, you had almost a prop shaft tunnel here. no edging on that at all. And then you had the rear floor carpets. Rear floor carpets had the front edge trimmed, edge bounds only on both sides, and that's it for edging basically. So you basically got the rear floors, you got the little bits around the front floors, you got the rear edge of the gear stick piece, and then you have the flap there. That's all the edging that was originally on them. Obviously you've got the sills down here that went from front to back of the car underneath the doors. You then had the lower bulkhead. Obviously that sits on the vertical, and that's where the tunnel sits in there. So that's effectively all those pieces there are the short version, shall we say, of the carpet sets. And then the long version also included these pieces here. So these bits here did the side wheel arches. Get a pair of those obviously. Then this is for the rear shelf with the vinyl strip sewn on it that attaches to the actual panel itself on the underside there. And then you had the rear bulkhead section there, which went obviously on the vertical into the boot trunk area. So that is the full carpet set to OEM Spec, left-hand drive, black Carvel with the OEM Spec binding on it. Hope that was informative. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts out there. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.